Hey everybody, thanks again for joining us for another one of these reaction videos that we're having to some of the footage that you guys are submitting for us to have a look at. Today's footage was sent in by a user named Rox. He's based out of British Columbia, Canada, so one of our fellow countrymen. Rox was telling us a little bit via some messages that this is footage. It's multiple different games from the same day, is that right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So he's like you said, out in BC. This guy's been playing for 12 or 13 years. He's a fairly experienced player. Looks like he's got a pretty advanced level kit. So we'll see how he does.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's get switched over and let's get to it. Here we are.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Rock's Airsoft. Today we have a few gameplay clips here showcasing some of the games that I played this past weekend at Panther in Surrey and Millionaire in Abbotsford. Hope you stick around and enjoy, and as usual, if you like what I do, hit that sub and hit that like button.
I think this game is 12 versus 12. Is that what he said? And he's running a SIG MCX, as you can see on the screen, but he's got it. It's a Kythera engine. That's the right way to say that.
Yeah, I think so. And it's he was saying as well in the messages, he's also got his sidearm on the same HPA tank, so he's running both his primary and secondary HPA, which we don't see a whole lot where we play, but it's a cool idea.
Yeah, definitely.
Vortex optic.
Yeah, I never used one.
Yeah.
That was a quick shot.
Yeah, real fast.
Another quick one. I can't tell if he was transitioning there between shoulders, but
yeah, it didn't look like it. He might have bumped though.
Yeah. Again, like he said in his messages, he knows this field very well. He knows the lines. You can see he's looking everywhere he needs to look right there.
Yeah, that's right. And he's up. He's ready to go, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's how we got those last two guys.
Yeah.
Look, he's suppressing left, or suppressing right to shoot left. Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
Another
there
one.
you go. Two guys go left.
Oh, maybe a guy just went left again.
Pretty static positions though, hey? They're not moving a whole lot.
No. Nice.
Oh, hit!
Oh.
Bruh.
I feel like they would have traded hits that time, but
yeah.
But that's classic. You'll see that situation, and I mean, it happens to us every time we play.
Yeah.
You get one or two guys. You might shoot both of them first, but in the exchange, you get hit as well.
Yeah, just really, that's airsoft for you, right? Like,
yeah.
Because we talked about this in like podcasts and stuff, but because nobody's actually dying, so I mean, what are you gonna do, right?
Yeah. So that's the most sportsmanlike thing to do is to just exchange the hits, take them, and both you guys walk out.
Yeah, totally. Because otherwise, you just get into this big argument of, oh no, I hit you, you hit, like, and that's just not fun for anybody.
No.
Like, yeah.
And I guess like just breaking in this situation a little bit, I mean, like we've seen a bunch of his fellow players or his teammates go to the right, and I'm guessing that's what forced all these other guys to come around to the left.
Yeah.
And he did a great job of keeping both avenues in his sight, putting rounds on each, and that's it. Sometimes if you get two or three guys rush you, then that's
Yeah, I think the only way that you could have looked at the situation maybe a little bit differently, and it's easy for us to say because we don't know the field quite as much, because we don't know what the fire lane looks like when you get there, but he could have potentially pushed a little bit left, and instead of having those guys run at him, he would have been there engaging them. And we do that sometimes on the village field. Sometimes we just push and we try and get around, but again, that's us not knowing the field. Who knows, when you get to that corner, maybe it's garbage cover and you can't do any work from there, right? So
Definitely.
it could have been the right play to
stay
there.
Just looking at this field here, I mean, like, there looks like to be hundreds of lanes of fire here, so it very well could be.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I mean, we even saw him take one guy out. He was peeked around the corner, and the guy that he shot wasn't even in line with him. He was looking elsewhere, not at all aware of that fire lane. Right?
Yep, definitely.
So yeah. Pretty good start though for him.
Definitely. 5 kills, 1 death. Yep, nothing wrong with that. So he's got a great camera setup here as well. I mean, these are new GoPros. Everything looks really, really nice.
I didn't waste any time either.
Oh. He's in the same position. Yeah.
Yeah.
And see, that just shows like he's hit 2 or 3 guys now with
Yeah.
their arms and legs being exposed.
Shifty building.
He's communicating with his buddies, and his buddy's still there on his right, and you can even see another guy even further down on the right. You can see he's got an ally over to further to
Someone?
the right.
Dome the guy.
Yeah.
He's very accurate on his first shot for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think he's transitioning his shoulders. Which
That's a trade-off here. I mean, you're going to sacrifice some speed, but you're going to get more cover, get more of your body in cover here.
yeah, and I think, we talk about like transitioning shoulders for basically all the time. It's something we preach. But if you don't practice it, right, you're not going to be good at it. So if this guy, for example, hasn't practiced transitioning at all, he's not just going to do that randomly in the middle of a game because he's not going to have the accuracy he needs to be effective, right? And he's getting guys like first, second round hits, no problem. If he can't do that on his left side, then there's no sense of him transitioning over.
No, for
right?
sure. Yeah, and it's one of those things where, I mean, you're going to need, in order to get better at it, you're going to need to practice.
Totally.
And that's not just, shooting paper targets. You're going to need to practice in game. And that's one thing that I think we've brought up before, maybe even on the Discord, is we've purposely started off some games when we were trying to get better on our support side right away.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
That's your default for that game.
Yeah, and I mean, you kind of have to suck at it first, and then, you take your licks, and then eventually you start to see that growth, and you're like, wow, like I can do, and I know for yourself and for myself, we can shoot either side now, it makes no difference. And that's beneficial. That being said, he hasn't shot offside this game, but I mean, he hasn't gotten shot as a result of not being offside.
Not
like
that we can tell. No.
The hit that he traded with the other guy, that would have happened any side he was on.
And that's the thing about any of this stuff is that, people can say is like, oh, well, I don't get hit. I don't transition shoulders, or I don't take cover like this, or I don't do that. But you don't know, right? I mean, if you got hit here, if you would transition, maybe you wouldn't have got hit there. Maybe the shot would have been here, right? So, I mean, you can only stack up as much stuff and do as much as you can. And then, you got to have faith that it might help you.
Yeah, trust the process, like we've said before.
Exactly. Nice.
Yeah. Now, if that had been me in that situation, I definitely would have transitioned. But again,
This looks like a cool field.
yeah.
There's a lot of solid structures. Nice.
A lot of holes too.
Yep.
Oh,
Oh, he
there
is
he goes.
transitioning. Yep. Maybe we just can't tell from the camera angle. If so, super
Yeah.
super smooth.
Oh, sorry.
Typical Canadian.
Yep.
Apologizing for it.
Oh, was that an enemy player there? Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, this guy is definitely very comfortable with that rifle. He knows his ranges, he knows his holds, he knows
Yeah, no
he knows
question.
what's up here. Good, both eyes open. He's tracking those BBs.
Yeah.
Nice. He shoots a lot less than you, Phil.
Well, I mean, that's not setting the bar very high.
I love when these buildings just have one sheet of plywood because it makes everything so much louder.
Yeah.
He's working his way around. I wonder, does he have any teammates left?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. There
He's
we go.
behind the spool.
Oh, here we go. You see what these guys are doing? They've got their elbows tucked right in.
Yep.
They're not chicken winging
behind
on
those
anything
Spools.
here.
I like how
Panthers?
he's got his hand on the
Yeah.
piece of cover.
Like we talked about last time, yeah.
Quick peek from that guy. Didn't have his rifle out.
Silent killer.
Man, the nice thing about this field is that there's a lot of dark areas and a lot of light areas. So you seen like him shooting in those last few guys. I mean, I couldn't even see him.
Yeah.
That's a great way to add depth to a field.
Friendly.
Fortune and Lumber against the side
Although
here.
I thought there was a remaining enemy.
All right. Let's. So yeah, I think what's interesting about the light and dark is that, you know, just from a camera perspective, cameras don't pick up light and dark the way human eyes do and don't adapt. So it could be like, it is obviously darker, but he's probably seeing it and the camera doesn't pick it up.
Gotcha.
Pick it up as nicely. That being said, totally take what you're saying. It does add a lot of depth, and I know we've had successes in the past where it's like we're in pieces of cover that are sort of shaded, and we've got lots of concealment around us. And if it was bright and sunny, you'd see us, but where it's a little bit darker,
Definitely.
you miss them.
Yep.
Yeah. So he's just about to say something. So let's go back real quick and listen to what he has
Sure.
to say.
Friendly. Although I thought there was a remaining enemy left, he had actually used his last life and the game was over. In our next game, we're doing a quick, single elimination, pistols only game. As you can see, the action gets in extremely quickly.
All right, so let's just talk about that last game before we move into the next one. I think a lot of the stuff that you were saying throughout is absolutely accurate. Like, this is clearly an experienced player, right? He knows how to handle his rifle. He knows his engagement distances, no question. One thing that stuck out to me is that his movements are very decisive. It's not sort of just like peeking and like, oh, I'm going to try. It's like, no, it's like he wants to go here and he's going to go here and he just goes.
Yep.
Right. Which I think is very important, because I know I've gotten in trouble myself where I'm hesitating. The second you hesitate is, you know, time where you potentially could get shot because you're slowing down or whatever.
Definitely. And if you commit to moving to a piece of cover and halfway there you're second guessing yourself, then you're not paying attention as well as you could, right? So like we see it all the time with ourselves, even, is that you go to a piece of cover, it's indecision, you hesitate, you get shot or something happens and then you're behind, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to touch on is something we talked about on the Discord with some people before, but like different airsoft scenes have different numbers of players, right? And so this game was 12 on 12, and for us that's a great day, and for these guys this seemed like a lot of fun. But there's tons of people out there who are fortunate enough to play on sites where they have hundreds of players, right? And they go, well, if there's not 20 players, it's not worth showing up. But I think being able to show footage like this of a field that is very well built, that seems to have a lot of stuff, just goes to show that you don't have to have a tremendous number of players every time to have really good quality games, or an opportunity to push yourself and to excel and to get very good, like this player clearly is.
And I think there's something to be said for that. I mean, I'm not saying that people who play with large groups aren't good, but I feel like there's less room for you to hide when you've got lower numbers, right? I mean, if you're playing with 20 people max, then you know, it's not like you're playing with 100 person aside where you can sit back and let things unfold. You're gonna have to get in there. You know, there's going to be, you know, close shooting, there's going to be all that kind of stuff. So I feel like there's definitely something to be said about playing with a small group of decent players. You can get good very fast.
Yeah, I think too, if you think about it from the analogy of like classroom sizes and stuff, right?
Yeah.
If you have 20 people and let's say 4 or 5 of them are very, very good, then you have much more of an opportunity to learn and grow from those players than if the pool has 100 players.
For sure,
right?
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, if you play a game and there's, you know, 100 versus 100 and you're defending somewhere, you might not see anybody all game.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, because just the way it works out. But so it's an interesting point for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, if the message for you guys is if you do play in a small community, if you don't have a lot of players compared to some of the videos that you see online in like larger communities, remember, you can have a lot of fun with 10, when we have with 10 players, 12 players, 20 players. Those are totally great numbers, and you can push yourself to excel in those situations and really get quite good, even if your field isn't one of the biggest fields in North America or Europe or what have you.
Definitely. And when everybody gets a little better, the game gets better.
Totally. Yeah,
Right.
I've said this before on the podcast,
Yeah.
but the rising tide lifts all boats, right?
For sure.
All right, so let's look into this next one, which I think is going to be quite a bit shorter.
Nice transition.
Ready?
So this is just pistols. It looks like he has a dot sight and a suppressor. Oh,
Wow.
yeah. He didn't... Oh, can you pause that for a second?
Yeah.
His opponent didn't cock his gun. So he didn't
Oh.
have a BB in the chamber.
I did not notice that.
So that happens to a lot of people, especially when you're used to running an AEG, because there's no... For most of them, I mean, there are some that sets it up electronically.
Yeah.
But for most airsoft guns, it's, plug it in and pull the trigger. But
Yeah.
with a gas pistol...
I know as part of my ritual, when I start my day, I always, just because, I mean, it feels, if you have a GBB, like, it feels cool, right? You slap a mag in, you rack the slide, and you put it in the holster, and then you leave it there for all the game, and you don't use it at all if it's anything like like me.
But there's other
yeah.
people on the opposite end of that will take it out and fire. If you might have 15 shots in your pistol, and before the game starts, they're just lazily firing like 5 or 6 shots, and I'm just like, no!
Yeah, you're wasting ammo.
Don't do that. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah.
All right, let's keep going.
Yeah.
I think our guy Rox here was surprised as well with that.
Definitely.
Nice. He's...
One left?
And if anybody out there has never played a game of just pistols where everybody has pistols, it is extremely fun.
Yeah.
Because I gave you my mag, so I stuck a new one in.
Woof.
Nice
What a
shoot.
shot.
In our final game, we're at Millionaire
Oh, that was
Airsoft.
a quick one.
Yeah, quick game. But yeah, I think the pistols only games are just awesome. They're just awesome fun. It's silly. I find for us, like, for me anyway, there's no pressure. Like, you just
No.
go do your best and just have a laugh. If you've never done it before, I mean, I would be highly surprised if most of you watching had never ever seen or done a pistols only game before, but definitely recommend if you haven't. It is a good bit of fun. Just remember to, as we were saying, racks your slide, make sure there's a round in the chamber. Before
Yeah,
you're good
and
to
you've
go.
got gas in your mags.
Yeah, totally.
All right, cool. Because this guy, like we said, he's running off his tank. So this is another HPA gun.
Yeah.
Essentially, and you can tell. I mean, it's a nice pistol. It sounded great. He was obviously getting good hits here.
And I mean, it's kind of hard to tell on video, but I would say that's probably like 40 or 50 feet to that building.
Yeah, maybe at the far end there. There's definitely no long shots here, but even with pistols, unless you're putting a lot of work and time and money into them, I mean, as long as you're hitting within, to me, 50 to 70 feet, I mean, you're
Totally.
okay.
No, I agree. But that's what I'm getting at, right?
Yeah.
Is the fact that would be a little long. Even for my pistol, I would be like, you know what, pucker factor. Like I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to put a shot in a small window like he did, right?
Yeah.
So that's kudos to him. And again, it comes down to knowing your gear, knowing your gun, and figuring out what you can do. Right?
Definitely. And a dot on an airsoft pistol is got to be fantastic because, like we talk about all the time with red dots on rifles, it allows you to get your holds and track your BB so much easier.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
No, absolutely. All right, let's look at, I think it's one last one.
Yep, I think so.
And we are playing single elimination on the Spools field. Again, I'm using the SIG MCX.
Oh my God.
Dark Ithera.
So this is almost like a hyperball, speedball.
Yeah.
Hey, 3, 2, 1, go!
He's got his rifle up.
No one's left. Or no, all 3 went right. Sorry, all left. I'm fucking dumb.
Oh, he said a bad word.
We have a field very similar to this in our main field, but it's done with tires. Or no, there's another one on the Blackhawk side. So
Yeah.
we've got 2 really. These make for some fun, quick games for sure. And one thing, if you just want to pause it there, Phil.
Yep.
One thing you can see he's doing here, and he did in the other video as well, I just didn't mention it, is he's off of his cover a decent amount. I mean, that spool got to be at least 5 feet in diameter, it looks like, or between 4 and 5 feet. So it's well enough to cover him, and he's a few feet back. So you can see right now his muzzle is pointed towards the enemy, and he's able to shift out as he needs to.
Yeah, he's
right?
totally in cover. We talk about that when in cover utilization, and some people say, "Oh, well, I never do that because you never get an opportunity." But the reality is, in most cases, you're still perfectly safe if you're standing off from the cover.
Yeah.
And you have a lot, as you can see from even just the camera, like you have a lot more peripheral vision of the field, and it allows you to keep your weapon up to make sure that you're able to engage targets as they come up.
Yeah.
Right?
With proper with proper braking of your rifle and all this kind of stuff, I mean, there's almost no situation where you can't be a little bit back.
Yeah, like if someone is like suppressing the crap out of your piece of cover or whatever, like sure, yeah, fine. But in most cases, you're able to really break off.
Definitely.
Right?
So again, he's able to just move out of the cover with the rifle still up. Nice.
Got one.
Guess he's just waiting for that guy to.
Oh, I traded shots.
There he transitioned.
There we go. Look how close he is to the cover. That's great. Nice.
Oh, what a shot!
Excellent.
That's some great work.
Yeah. Transition quick. Back up.
Oh my goodness!
Oh.
Look, and he's got him running off.
Yeah.
You see the rifle up, and it's that confidence, I'm telling you, that gets people more than anything.
Yeah.
If you take a quick snapshot at somebody, and the response is to come around with the rifle up, and you're cranking rounds, people move.
Yeah. Oh, he's got that confidence for sure, no question.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Nice. So a few points on this.
I didn't even see you move from. I thought you were behind there still, dude.
All right. So that was obviously pretty awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was really good. A lot of good work there. If you want to scroll back, Phil, to where he was shooting at that guy that was running, there was something that really. Yeah, I think it's right here.
Oh yeah.
All right. So just go back and do it again and watch his muzzle. So
Got one.
you see he puts them in front of him and then he brings it back.
Yeah.
So a lot of people miss easy shots when people are running because they sort of under aim, then over aim, and then try and find the balance. So what I'd recommend doing is, if you have time to consciously think about this, is overshoot first, because your BBs are going to naturally curve towards them as they're running, right? They're running towards it. So then you can just walk them in, as opposed to putting your sight on them, then realizing they're shooting behind, then shooting ahead and realizing you're somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, that's right. You give yourself more time by overshooting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you see, I can't tell exactly what Rox did here, but he corrected whatever he was doing very quickly and got the hit.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what's interesting as well, in terms of, when I look at a video like this, it's interesting because initially he starts off communicating basically really well, like saying, okay, well, he had a bit of communication mishaps himself in what he was trying to say, but he's communicating with his team, which is great. But then within a matter of a minute and a half, he's by himself. That's a reality that happens to a lot of airsofters, right? You're on the field, you're trying your best, and suddenly you're by yourself, and you don't have anybody to work with. And really, in those situations, you only have two options. You can either continue the fight as best as you can, relying on your own personal skills. And if you have that skill set and that confidence, then you might do really well, like Rox did in this video, or you might have those skills and not do really well. That's just the way that airsoft goes. But another option is, well, you fall back to your friendlies and then regroup and stuff. Are you going to do that on a 5-minute hyperball kind of game? Like, no, of course you're not, right? So it's totally normal for him to continue doing. But if you're thinking about what you could do to apply that in a larger setting of like a larger game, like objective-based, multi-hour, etc., you definitely would want to be falling back to your team, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, this is just a fun little team deathmatch.
Totally,
stuff.
Yeah. All right. So I think we'll leave it there.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you wanted to add?
I'm
just going to switch back to the full video if you want.
Yeah, there was one point there, but I don't know if it's relevant. I was gonna say, you notice he's going on his mag a lot.
Mm-hmm.
A theory of mine is that a lot of people, when they're going back on their mag, he's using a single point sling, right?
Yep.
So he's forced to go from this position, which he prefers, as we've seen, right, to this, because him alone is keeping the rifle up. The single point sling does nothing while it's up,
Yeah.
right? Whereas, like, say ourselves now using a 2 point, this is doing something while it's up there.
Yeah.
So like you're using a lot less of your own arm power, right, to keep it up. And so you see in these situations, and even in the last game, the 12 versus 12, he's tucked back in here, especially while he's moving, which is not what you want. You want out here while you're moving.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Yeah. And I mean that's again one of the trade-offs of the single point sling, right? Compared to a 2 point.
Definitely.
If you like the speed of the 1 point, and there's no denying that a 1 point is just objectively faster.
Yes.
That doesn't mean you can't get fast with a 2 point. I think we do pretty well.
No.
But if you like the 1 point, then you need to be prepared to sort of sacrifice in other places, and that stability and that support that you get from your sling. And also, hitting yourself in the nutsack when you drop your rifle are realities of using a 1 point sling. All my 1 point sling peeps out there, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, definitely.
So I can't thank Rox enough for submitting this video for us to look at. It's really great to see, again, how airsoft is played in different places, especially different places in Canada. We don't get a chance to see a lot of that.
No.
I like, again, that it's unedited gameplay. So, I mean, aside from like the hits and all this kind of stuff, you don't see any cuts, right? There's nothing in there that says, oh, well, he cut out all the bad stuff, right? Which is good, honest footage, and it makes it really good for us to react and give some thoughts on. So again, thank you so much for submitting it. Guys, if you would like us to do similar things with content that you submit to us, just join us on the Discord. Feel free to DM us your content. Give us a little bit of info about the game that you played, the number of players, the locations, that kind of stuff, and we'll do our best to react to it. It doesn't have to be in English either. If it's in a foreign language, that's absolutely okay, as long as you can give us the context that we need to see what's going on the field. Because, I mean, a lot of times you don't really know, people aren't really saying a whole lot anyway, so it's not a big deal. As well, if you're looking to join the Discord link is in the description, and you'll also find a link to Rox's YouTube channel down in the description as well. Go check it out. Leave him some love. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.